Yeah. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Health, Wealth,
and relationships
with Tisa.
and Grant.
How are you guys today?
Well, you know what? This is a special moment in history
Yes.
for all of us, especially for Black Americans and Americans in general, for the passing of Reverend Jessie Jackson.
Yes, and it's, very timely. It's happening, another historical moment in Black History Month.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So in that light, we have a special guest because we have our own historical figure
Absolutely.
here in Preston Love Jr. We'd like to bring him onto the stage, really talk about his life, what he's brought to the Omaha community at large, and his relationships also with Reverend Jackson.
So yes, Preston is Omaha history. Welcome, Preston Love Jr.
Well, welcome to you, and thank you for having me on. It is a special day in a lot of different ways that you can look at it. I've had a full day of reflection. My work with Jessie Jackson, which was set up by my work with some other famous people you all may not really know about, and we'll maybe have time with that. But I surely appreciate being on your program.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Preston, let's start with, are you from Omaha, Nebraska?
I am born and raised, grew up in Logan Fountainelle, went to Logan Fountainelle graduate school, which was Tech High.
And yeah, right. Tech High graduate. A lot of people don't even know about Tech. It's transferred to the TAC building over the years, but Tech High was one of our technical high schools, literally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But during those days, you could learn. Well, they taught us all the trades, just maybe a semester's worth. Right. And if you liked something, you could get deeper. And I now mess around with plugs and things. I feel safe because I got used to it at Tech High way back.
Tech High.
Centuries ago.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, because what you're really known for, from what my family has told me, is that Preston Love was an athlete. Like he was shooting hoops, he was catching footballs, he was doing a lot of things at Tech High. They got him all the way to Nebraska. Give us a little bit about that history.
Well, nothing I had planned. It just evolved. I was uniquely awarded some groundbreaking awards during my high school days. I surely was all-state in basketball. I was the first African-American. I don't think I've said this out loud much, but I was the first African-American to make all-state in football in Nebraska history.
Really? See, I didn't know that.
Well, I never knew it because when it happened, it wasn't presented to me, or I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah.
It's only in reflection that I realized that in fact was the case. And hardly anybody believes me because right after me, there were so many great players. I'll give you a few examples, and many of them made all-state. So they all kind of get merged together. But I was the first one. After me came Gail Sayers.
Yeah. Gail out of Central.
And then after that came Marlon Briscoe, and all of that. And before me, there were many African Americans who were talented enough, maybe even more talented than I, who didn't make it because in those days they didn't know black folks.
They ain't recognizing. They
didn't recognize. So I think I've told this story privately. I was a good student and a little Lord Fauntleroy in many ways. And I think when I came along, they felt safe awarding me the All-State. And
Okay.
I don't feel good about that now. At the time, I didn't realize I was being used.
Well, you know, even today, it's sometimes who they're comfortable with, you know, and that's just keeping it 100, you know.
So I had a great
scholarship to Nebraska. We got an old picture right here.
Yeah.
You playing on the team. I mean, look at this, number 88.
The Magnificent Eight. Tell me.
Magnificent Eight.
At UNL, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about why the Magnificent, and it was only 8 of y'all. Like, where'd the name come from?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, but I got breaking news for you.
What's that?
When I left high school, I went to Northwestern.
What?
Right after?
Huh?
Right after high school?
Yeah. When I left high school, I went to Northwestern in Evanston, Illinois, to play for the Big Ten. And I went to Northwestern. I wanted to be an architectural engineer.
Nice.
And by the way, we talked about tech. And part of that was I took drafting.
Right.
Became interested in all of that. I went to Northwestern, and I ran into a couple challenges. One is the very complex and challenging curriculum to be an architectural engineer.
Sure.
Two, that Chicago.
Oh, that's where it was? It's close to Chicago?
Yeah, Chicago was a big barrier to me concentrating. And
Chicago, right?
Yeah, Chicago had a lot of things that I hadn't witnessed before. It had all kinds of things to do, and there were young ladies that I had never seen, and they'd never seen me. And so
you was in a different whole lake, a whole nother
different environment.
That's a story. How you go from Chicago back to Lincoln, Nebraska?
Add all of that to the fact that I was trying to play football and run track. Right. So I received communication from, excuse me, ladies. I received communication from Nebraska and said they were still interested in me to come and play football. And I transferred back. And so this is another breaking news thing for you. I love
the breaking news.
All kind of stuff here. You know, if you think about right now, University of Nebraska football team, I would challenge you to tell me how many African Americans are on the team. And of course, we don't know exactly, but there were right now. There's probably, I don't know how many, but a whole lot.
Right.
But when I went to Nebraska in 1963, there were only 8.
That's why. That's it.
And it was, I take the credit, but I named us the Magnificent 8.
Nice.
That's where that came from. And that
Magnificent 8.
Look at that. There you are. It is.
Which one are you? 88?
Huh? I was 88.
88.
Right there on the left.
Right there on the end.
But what's significant about that picture? These are the 8 players. That was Coach Bob Devaney. Everyone in that picture, all 8 of us, played some sort of professional football. Every one of us.
Nice.
And 2 of them on there were All-Americans. I was drafted by the Detroit Lions. Number 80 there was the very first walk-on in the history of Nebraska football. Wow, and on and on and on.
Who is he?
That's wonderful history. And those 8, we've lost a couple of them. One of them is still my best buddy. He was my roommate there, number 33, and some exciting stories about every one of those guys.
Nice. Man. See, that's history. That's history that we probably didn't know at all. I know I didn't. So definitely didn't know that you went back and came back and moved around, you know what I'm saying? So
that's why I like telling those stories.
That's awesome. That's why we're here to get the true Preston love. Not all that other fluffy stuff. Everybody knows. We
were
want all the
family.
real deal.
We were family, the 8 of us.
That's
against
awesome.
The whole university, the entire football team only had 8 blacks.
Nice.
At that
Always
point.
the onlyest ones. And I'm glad that all of you guys seem to have made a way and still went on to do great things.
Yes.
Well, give us an idea, because you got to go further back. You say you started in Logan Fontenelle, but who got you there? It had to be Preston Love Sr., who has a street named after him right there on 24th and Lake. And you probably remember the 24th Street way before I did, when it was hustling and bustling, a lot of things happening. Your father was a part of that. Just give us a little bit of that legacy.
Well, the only problem with interviewing me and asking me questions is I use up all the time.
We got 30 minutes.
We got plenty.
We got 30 minutes, and we want you to share.
You gotta know that we were a poverty-stricken community. We meaning black folks, came here to work in the packing yards after.
That's what got my father here.
The Reconstruction period, and the black folks who were escaping the South came north. They came here, and we were all redlined into North Omaha and all of that. But when they did that, they didn't know what they were doing, because what they did, without trying to be punitive, is they created a wonderful community, North Omaha, that was made up of just wonderful culture, wonderful church. We had our own everything. We had our own mortuaries. We had our own newspaper. We didn't need to integrate. We did, but we didn't need to. We had inferior schools, but out of that came some brilliant people. And the story of North Omaha in those times is glorious. There was the book written called 24th and Glory, you may know. But one of the big highlights of that day was we were a regional oasis for jazz and big bands that played in ballrooms, including our own Dreamland Ballroom and our own Carnation Ballroom, and every major black music group or band came to Omaha, including Duke Ellington, Count Basie, B.B. King. All of them came to Omaha, and it was one club. If you're moving around and they go from one club to another, had a barbecue in the air. Oh man, we had a great community.
I hear you. And kind of when we was growing up, it was kind of the same thing. It was a lot of jazz going on, a lot of movies, a lot of people, concerts coming through here. When I was a kid, concerts came through here. Slowly but surely, the concerts stopped coming through Omaha, but we would see everybody make a stop through here on the way to Kansas City or whatever. This was a stop for concerts in general.
And the other part of that history is we created our own wonderfulness. White mortuaries did not want to bury or embalm black folks. Well, that's okay. We got our own.
Right. And why? Because
we were black.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And they didn't want.
And they probably couldn't get our skin right anyway.
Yeah, and they probably couldn't get the tone right. You're right about that.
Get that tone right.
And so all of that happened.
Hey, Preston, I got to share this with you before you continue on. Is that my mother told me a story about 24th Street when Little Richard came to town, 1957. She's only like 15 years old, but she used to walk. She went to Central, but all the Central Tech people would meet right around 24th and Commons, and they walked down to the Carnation, and she was able to sneak in from the back door and see Little Richard playing there. And remember, Little Richard was a big deal.
Oh, yes,
at that time, and it just showed you the caliber that was going on.
Oh, yeah. And I want to just jump on one part. If you went, there was only 2 schools where 99% of the blacks went. And that was Omaha Central and Omaha Tech. And we were fierce enemies on the sports,
Right.
In the sports, football, basketball, whatever. But
Right.
we lived next door to each other. The rest
Right.
of us. And we would walk from school. By the way, everybody walked in those days to and from school.
I did too.
And they'd come down 24th Central, and we'd come down Cummings, and we'd meet, and then we walked the rest of the way and look around, and old Joe, he dropped off because he lived right up there on Caldwell. Then you walk some more, and there's Franklin. Oh, see you later. And, but we had a great community. My point to you was we didn't need to fight for integration, but we did. We had our own mortuary. We had our own newspaper. We had our own theater. You know, we couldn't go downtown in those days and go to the theater. And then finally they let us sit in the balcony only. And I remember throwing popcorn over, you know, and then lean back. But we had our own stuff. We had to fight hard to get a swimming pool. We did. And then there's the whole story of Peony Park we can talk about later. But all of that says we didn't need to bus or integrate. We just needed society to treat us fairly, to desegregate, and we'd have been just fine. And leave us alone, and don't mess with sending the police in to kill our little kids like they did with Vivian Strong. You know that.
A lot of people don't know that's what tipped off the riots. It seemed like after that, 24th Street wasn't the same. You had the I remember 1975 when they brought in the highway. I didn't realize at the time that would change the landscape of what we knew as North Omaha for a very, very long time.
When they built the freeway and cut, in effect, right through our culture, right through our housing, right through our unity, right through our cohesiveness, guess what? They were doing it all over the country in every urban setting. That was a strategic move to keep us in our place. And we suffered from that economically and otherwise. We still really have not recovered from that major thing. Do you know about the 16th Street where as residents of North Omaha, if we wanted to go downtown, we pretty much walked down 16th Street and flowed into downtown. You know they built a hotel there to stop us from doing it. And it's the same hotel that's up there now. I think it's the
Hilton.
Huh? What
that Hilton right on 16th Street that stops right where downtown begins.
They built that there to keep you from walking downtown freely. What a fear they had of us for no reason whatsoever. But there's a lot of history there. We could go on and on. I want to tell you that I was fortunate, as I say, even my athletic thing, I put a quote around it because I, in studying and reflecting, realized that I was rewarded because I was a good little Negro boy. And instead of some of others that could have gotten that same award. But I went on because I was rewarded. And you do great things if you get rewarded. That's a lesson in life. And so some of the other athletes who I thought maybe were better than I, some of that punishment and that unfairness paralyzed their growth and their hope. And so that's a bad situation that we need.
And Preston, and we're going to move over to your history with Jesse Jackson so we can move into the present and the future. But my question is, do you think, how much do you think, your shade played a part? When you said that they're comfortable with you because you were smart, you're also of the lighter persuasion. Do you think that back then played a part in like maybe your brother that you thought maybe just as good? Did you think any of that played a part back then?
Oh, I think so. In reflection,
In reflection,
really was not something I was conscious of.
Yeah, sure.
Back in the day, we were just trying to make it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I do think so. And if you let yourself, you get caught in that trick bag right now.
Okay.
You know, where, if I may say respectfully, white folks pick out the ones they think they can get along with and who are no threats, and reach out and make, give them success because they feel comfortable with it.
That's it. It's all about
we're falling into the trap in this world that some percentage of us get caught into that. If you look at the evolution of the politics and social networks, many of us have lost our way and find more comfort being loved by white people. And so instead of being,
you talking too deep.
Can we keep hope alive?
I thought this was the deep part of the show.
We're gonna say them for deeper conversations. Off the podcast.
Yeah.
But so moving us up to, so Jesse Jackson passed this morning, I'm assuming sometime, and you were his campaign manager back in
84.
84. Okay, so I was in college in 84. Show a good picture then. We got a picture of a more recent picture. And you said this is Jesse Jackson's 81st birthday?
It's not as, I'm finna say it's recent, but not as recent. That was let's see, it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Okay.
He was 84 when he passed, and this is his 81st birthday.
81st. Okay.
And I went up. I was living here, of course, and I went up to Chicago and shared with him. We hadn't seen each other for years. We had talked occasionally on the phone. He was in a wheelchair, and his speaking. What was sad about Jesse and speaking is he was such a great speaker. And then in the latter part of his life, he was not able to speak clearly and articulately, and that gave me pause at this moment. There's another picture you don't have, and I'll just jump to that quickly.
Okay.
That I was showing the media earlier today. It's a picture in 2024, and at the Democratic Convention in Chicago. And I found Jesse in the crowd, so to speak. We were down. He was not in the main corridor, but I went down and found him, and he was in a wheelchair, but Jesse could not speak.
Yeah. And did he recognize you?
Huh?
Did he
recognize me, but the story goes, I began to tear up, and so did he.
Let me ask you this, Preston, if you don't mind. If you don't mind, I'd like to ask you this. How did you get yourself from growing up in Omaha, Nebraska, coming from the Logan Fontenelle Projects Tech High School, going to the NFL, but then you find yourself at that top of the world in the Democratic Party and helping someone I think was really the second Black person to run for president. The first was Shirley Chisholm, I remember that. How did you get to that level?
Well, it wasn't a plan. It wasn't in my bucket list. It just evolved. I was with IBM for 15 years, and I rose up the ladder, and I worked for, but I decided that I'm going to say it, enough of the corporate life, and I decided to open up my own IBM. And so I started, this is something you might not know, the very first retail computer store in Georgia.
Okay.
I
didn't know that.
Very first Apple in Atlanta ever.
Nice.
And that was in 1980. So what happened is I quit IBM, opened up the retail store in Atlanta, and as a result of that, it was so innovative that I became known quicker than you would be if you just moved. And so I was that guy that has the computer store. And so I had a chance to meet the community, Black community in Atlanta in a kind of a fast start sort of way. I began to meet and have relationship with many in the civil rights community. Just because I had notoriety because of my
in Atlanta,
my computer store failed because I made some bad business decision. So I want to tell you this is the first time I've ever told anybody. You got to get the scoop. So here I was in beautiful Atlanta, highly educated, handsome, and of course, and broke. And unemployed. And
this is after the store failed?
Huh?
This is after your store failed?
Yes, after my store. So I was out there with all my glory with nothing. And somebody said, why don't you go over there, Preston, and volunteer because Andrew Young is running for mayor. Maynard Jackson was in his last term. And they said, go over there, because then you'll network, you'll meet some people, and maybe you'll get yourself a job. So I did. And to make a long story short, they assigned me to drive Andy around. And so I was
Andy,
and after we talked a while, they said, something about you, sir. He said, you don't seem like a driver. But anyway, and before I knew it, he and I became great friends. And then I told him about my computer experience. And I told him that I think I know a way for you to help you win this election. I don't have time to tell you the whole story, but it was something never been done before because people didn't know how to use computers in election. And when he won, he gave me a lot of the credit for his victory. And I was one of the three people that he brought into government. I was his budget manager and planning director and all of that. And that's so I'm answering your question about it was just me doing my thing with Andy.
Being you.
But Andy knew, he had been with King and his inner circle. So all of a sudden, I'm in Andy's camp. That's my guy, Preston.
Hey, that's a great Omaha story. That's a North Omaha classic of how you were able to do that.
It's just the way it happened.
Accidentally broke into.
And then there was this guy that used to visit Andy all the time because they worked together with King, and that was Jessie.
Right.
And that was Jessie.
So Andy said, let me introduce you to my computer whiz, Preston Love. And so,
not the computer whiz.
And they thought I was a genius because nobody knew anything about computers.
At that time.
I looked like a genius, but I wasn't. But anyway, to make a long story short, Jessie and I were essentially the same age, the same height. We hit it off like crazy. And then before I knew it, Jessie was considering running for president. And he asked me, would I help him think it through? And because of something that we've left out in the historical thing that we're talking about, and that is the election of the first Black mayor of Chicago, Harold Washington.
I remember that. Yep.
And what happened that kind of enhanced my political career is Andy wanted Harold to win. We can say this now, the statute of limitations is up. I was being paid by the city of Atlanta, but I was in Chicago helping Harold Washington.
I got you. We won't tell nobody.
Okay. And that's how it all kind of ratcheted itself up. And I became Jessie's campaign manager. At first, it was just me and Jessie traveling the country, registering folks in the South. In Mississippi, it was he'd asked me to take a leave from Andy Young, and the rest is history.
Nice.
That's how it evolved.
Nice. Well, we're going to wrap up with some current information on you. You have such a vast history. We could probably talk forever on it. Let us know where Preston Love is today. what you're doing. I know you just opened up your visitor center. Give us some
Yes.
insight on, and then we'll give you some words of wisdom at the end of like, where do you think we're going in the future? All of that stuff that you've learned and you've seen and you're still witnessing. And I know there's still, I know there's still hope alive.
Yeah.
So let us know where you are doing, what you're doing right now. How can we help? What's going on with you?
Well, I need to preface it simply by saying that Jesse's, you can take that, by Jesse's impact on the body politics in the nation.
Yes.
It's not well recognized. I said this all day for the media, that Jesse's run for president in 1984 changed everything. It changed the Democratic Party. There was a phenomenon during the primaries where the winner took all. And so when we were in the primary and Jesse was running against Mondale and many others, and if Mondale won by just a little bit, he get all the delegates.
Right.
That was unfair, and Jesse wouldn't let it stand, and it took him that campaign, but he got changed. And if he had not made that change, we would not have had Obama would have never gotten out of the primary system.
Sure.
So Jesse needs to get that. And also, we think about the Black community on a national scale. Nobody talked about the Black vote on a national scale.
Right.
It was only in the cities where we had a strong density of Black. But when we ran for president, Jesse collected all the Black votes.
Right.
It changed the way Democrats and Republicans changed the way they looked at the Black vote. They realized how powerful of a bloc that we were.
Right.
So it was amazing. And so all of that, I'm saying that those experiences will allow me to share with you. When you ask me, the big question is, what does that mean now in 2026? I do have a thought for you.
Sure.
No, this is important because you also ran for, I think, Senate in Nebraska. I mean, you're now in your 80s, you're in your senior years, but you still are a political activist. You still believe in advancing the Black cause. You are a freedom fighter even today.
Yes.
Well, I'm still a young man.
That's right.
There's somebody sitting over here and they fell out laughing, fell on the floor, I think. But
that is relevant.
Yeah, I surely did run for the United States Senate against billionaire Pete Ricketts. He spent $2.5 million. I only was able to raise $300,000, but I got 350,000 votes in the state of Nebraska. And for whatever it's worth, thank you, whatever it's worth, I am one of the top, not Black, but the top vote getters in the history of the Senate races in Nebraska.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Applause.
Yeah. And so
I'm gonna bring you some flowers tomorrow.
But I want you to know this. This is very, I think, relevant, is my whole concept of running against little David, running against Goliath, came from my experience with Jesse. He wasn't expected to win, and he did not win the election, but he won so many victories that I've tried to articulate to the media today. You don't only have to win the big one, but you can win a whole lot of little. And we did the same thing in my race for Senate, that we open up the eyes of the state, on both sides, of Democrats and Republicans. There's a possibility that a Black can make a difference in the state races. If I was a little younger, I think I would absolutely run again or run for governor. And in this environment that we're in, I hope we have enough time for something I want to tell you before we
go right ahead. We got time.
We got time. Don't rush.
Okay. Let me just say this, and I'll say it shortcut, that in 2026, I don't have to spend any time telling y'all about Trump. Forget about Democrats and Republicans. Just think about Trump, because Trump is attempting to completely dismantle democracy, completely dismantle anything that could be called diversity, anything that could be called equity, inclusion. He's working every day to dismantle that. You know all the things he's doing.
Sure.
Trying to erase our history. He even talked about, oh no, we don't need a Black History Month and all. Just one thing right after another. And then this last, one of the things he's doing, unbelievable as it may be, is to try to nationalize the election. That means that,
which is crazy. No,
but guess what? He only wants to do it in the Democratic states.
That's it. And he wants the Republicans to nationalize it. He specifically said Republicans. So.
Oh yeah,
that's when you know you're going to lose.
You got to cheat about redistricting the states to gerrymander to put it in favor. Here's where I'm going with this: that the only way to stop Trump, that's within our hands, is impeachment. I got to take 20 seconds to tell you, how do you impeach your president? Well, you do know, everybody knows, I guess, that the Republicans have control of the House, they have control of the Senate, and also he's gerrymandered the Supreme Court so that it's really unarmed. So here's the deal. If we let him go for the next 3 years, I don't know where the country will be, where the people of color will be, and any kind of sensitivity, some of the more progressive issues for women and health and mental health. Even now, they're talking about, the vaccines or not, just every direction. Maybe get us in war with somebody. But so he's going to have 3 years if we're not able to do one thing, and that's what I want to tell you. We've got to win the House. We've got to win the Senate. The way impeachment works is the House, if you have, they have a vote on impeachment, and that vote goes down party line. So if the Democrats are a majority, we'll win. We can impeach him in the House.
Didn't we already impeach him twice, though?
Yes, but no. Here's where the confusion is. When you impeach them in the House, that's
okay.
And it looks bad on your resume, but it won't make no difference.
Right.
And so that's where people stop. But when you impeach them in the Senate, then you're out of there.
Okay.
It's like a trial, and the jury is the Senate. And if they vote to get him out, he's out of there. And in the House, we're about 4 seats short of controlling the House. In the Senate, it's less than that. And so now, here's what it means to us here in Omaha, Nebraska, is that we've got to win Congressional District 2, and then we reduce the number that has to be reached in the rest of the country. That's what the message I want is. I hope.
I wanted to add to that message, Mr. Love, because you're right, and I truly believe this is a challenge for the American people. It is the people that elects its leaders, and as the people, you got to either make a choice. You're either going to stand up for your rights and what you truly believe in, or you're going to stand on the sidelines. And Trump is Trump. To me, he's never changed. He's never wavered in who he is and what he does. But the American people, they waver, and they make, I think, and sometimes they make some bad choices. And so this is an opportunity, no matter who you are at right now, like, do you believe in these American values or you don't? Do you believe in a democratic process or you don't? Or do you want to go into this new world of Trumpism? And that is not, to me, if you see former Republicans, they are not even in that party. And the Democrats are just kind of standing on the sidelines and kind of waiting the things out. I don't believe in that. I believe that you've got to mobilize the people to actually put forth an opinion that will be enacted on.
Well, you know what you've just said could be summarized by saying that's what's at stake.
Mm-hmm.
And if we and you on your broadcast don't make sure people understand what's at stake. We always say we need to vote, but this time in 2026, what's at stake is 3 more years of this man who wants to be the king,
Wants to be the king.
wants to be an autocrat.
That's
and
it.
people need to know what's at stake, and there's no excuse for people saying voting doesn't matter and all that stuff. We need to be hard on ourselves and getting folks out to vote so that we can get this knucklehead out of there.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's a clown, you know. I've had some people say, "Oh, he's comical and he's this and that." We don't need a clown in that position. Look, go see a comedy show, but we don't need to have this guy who wants to be king running our country. So let's vote him out, like you said, impeach him if we need to, but let's get him out. So we gotta make these little votes count so we can get those people removed and get those seats filled.
But before we let you go, you said some things, Dr. Love. If you don't mind, just move it back to Omaha for a minute. You've got some things that you see on the horizon for Omaha, Nebraska. We've talked about the heyday and what was going on in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and then I call the dip, you know, in the late 70s, 80s, 90s, and that. But you're seeing a new vision, a new horizon. You've got a visitor center that you've opened up. You're seeing something. We haven't seen it visible yet, but you know what's going on. Give us a little bit of insight.
Well, first of all, so good to see both of you down in the new visitor center. It was better to see.
It was a lovely time. I'm gonna come and hang out with y'all. I like the space. I like the vibe. You know, Kimber's down there. I like to chit chat with her, and I like it.
I surely appreciate you giving me an opportunity to talk about it. But I'm gonna tell you, you said 70s, blah blah blah. Do you realize that this community, from the time we were redlined and all that, we were moving up slowly, economically. You don't. The only thing that you really can do for a community is to build wealth. The only way you can build wealth is to own things. The only way you can own things is have enough success where you have the money or the leverage to build it. We were moving on up slowly until 1969, when Vivian Strong was shot in the back of the head. By the way, nobody was held accountable. And that curve went straight down because we tore up our own community. And what happens sometime around the country is when a community gets tore up for whatever reason, then the downtown corporate and other invest and build it back up. Just like Tulsa, they're just now, after more than 100 years, starting to address Tulsa. And we went 50 years here, but not addressing it. So, but guess what? We are on the move now. And so this visitor center,
keep hope alive.
Keep hope alive. But this visitor center that we created would not be successful had we started it 5 years ago. It's just now changing and we changed it because there's federal money available, and we've got some brilliant people in different places now. So the visitor center is the first one of the federal designees that got money is for us to deliver the product. I don't know if you knew that. So we're not holding up celebrating that. We're just saying, hey, there's more coming. And the visitor center is about bringing economic impact to North Omaha by accentuating our assets and accentuating the fact that North Omaha is a great tourist site. So we bring tours and tourism into North Omaha, and before you know it, a lot of that money used to go right on out of here will circulate. And so when I do a tour, I've got a tour coming up with UNO, some students from UNO in the international department. And then when they get through touring, they want to go eat. We go up to Big Mama, so the bill is $900.
Right.
And so that $900, bam, is in North Omaha.
Right.
And it wouldn't be. So that's part of what the center is about. We do tours, we do charters, we rent out our wonderful space that you all have been in and we're proud of. And We have a wonderful hospitality coffee shop and gift shop. By the way, our coffee comes from Ethiopia.
All right, all right.
And so
you got some books there too, right?
We
Preston
have-
Love got some books there on the shelf.
Oh, we got books. By the way, I've written 5 of them.
Yeah,
But,
nice.
and just got an award. But so things are happening, and we ought to make sure that nobody goes around with the head down or without understanding what you're saying, and that we need to stick our chests out and be proud of what great folks we produced, and the potential that we have in North Omaha. We're on the way. I surely thank you for letting me give an
I
out.
am somebody.
Yes, you are somebody.
Yeah.
We are somebody.
See
And
that
we're
to
gonna keep
me.
hope alive.
I used to hear Jessie say that so much that I get.
I know. Shut up.
But
We
I'm
got
going
it,
to
Jessie.
miss
We
Jessie
hope.
Jackson.
We need to continue
And-
along those lines as we move from Martin Luther King to Reverend Jesse Jackson to Obama. And remember, that's a continuation. So we need that voice to continue on. You have been a stalwart in our community. I really want to thank you for sharing with us for these moments on health, wealth, relationship, because everything you talked about affects our health,
Definitely.
our wealth, and our relationship.
Absolutely.
Well, the only thing I leave you with, I'm not through yet.
Okay. Hearty
So love
words.
you all. Appreciate for the opportunity. Anytime that I can share something that would be of help, I'm open to come back again.
All righty.
Well, we're going to
Appreciate
come
you.
down on the 21st. You're going to come over to the Great Plains Black Museum on the 21st. I'll be down there for a book signing that's right next door to the North Visitor Center. There's reasons to come back down to 24th Street and be a part of what we are building and moving forward. You got to get to Pink Lotus, Nebraska, the project. She's doing so much for healthcare and breast awareness. We got to give her a shout out.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Preston knows. I think we started. Did you start following me on Facebook when I first started my cancer journey?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
And
he's been following me. We've been a
you
good
used
friend
to
since.
you touched my heart back then when you did, because you were so positive. You were so keeping hope alive, and you just moved like a train forward. And look at you now.
Yeah, well, it was my charge. We're walking in purpose here. So it was my charge to go ahead and lift my sister up, right? And we're still trying to bring that statistic down to keep us alive. And so I'm just doing my part to keep people alive, keep hope alive, keep people alive, and educate on healthcare. So we're going to continue to work in that healthcare department. We want to be a healthy community, a thriving community inside and out, right?
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
And I would just say that God has used you as a witness so people can keep the hope up and realize that God will get you through it. You got your proof.
To bring you to it, to definitely take you through it.
So-
Absolutely. Thank you,
Well,
sir.
thank you again, Preston. This has been wonderful. I want to thank you for the entire Love family, what you have done for the city of Omaha for over probably 100 plus years. And from the bottom of my heart, from health, wealth, and
relationships
with
Tisa
and Grant, we want to thank you again for being on the show.
All right. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Preston. We'll see you soon.
Okay. See you down at the center. Bye.
Absolutely.
You got it. We're coming. That was wonderful. We want to bring a lot more of these types of discussions, because this is how we get better. We heal together.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And we got to know our history to know where we're going. And so I hope that we've done a good job of kind of give you some history, maybe something you didn't know, but we just keep going. We need to keep moving forward, to keep being better, and better.
Yes, and remember to comment. If you got something out of this show, let us know about it. Go ahead. Don't be shy. Send us an email. Comment directly on our Facebook, our YouTube. We are here for the community. So thank you again for tuning into the show, and see us again next week.
Peace.
Peace.
Imagine waking up with more energy, a peaceful mind, and relationships that grow stronger every day. That is the vision Tisa Hardin and Grant McGaugh want to help you achieve, and it all starts with simple, practical steps you can take this week. On health, wealth, and relationships, every episode brings you real stories and trusted experts. Tisa and Grant focus on 3 tactical steps each week. Small, doable moves that protect your health, grow your savings, and bring you closer to the people you love. No complicated rules, just real progress. Try a clinic-to-kitchen swap to boost your energy. Start a money buffer habit that quietly builds your financial confidence. Or try a 1-minute exercise that helps you reconnect with your partner. These quick wins are not chores. They are steps toward a better life. People who try just one intentional step report more energy, less money stress, and evenings full of laughter again. Join Tisa and Grant. Start small, live bigger. Tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and